Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the FIFA World Cup 2026. Tonight, history is made at the legendary Estadio Azteca in Mexico. And the stadium that witnessed Pele in 1970 and Maradona in 1986 becomes the first ever venue to host the opening match of three different World Cups. Co-host Mexico begin their campaign against South Africa, and interestingly, these two nations also met in the opening game of the 2010 World Cup. 4 years of waiting are over, and the road to World Cup glory starts right here and right now. Welcome to Under the Sun. I'm Suraj, and I'll be going through the game here tonight with you. It's the first game, it's the opening game, it's the one that gets the blood pumping for the World Cup. It's the co-host Mexico, ranked 14th in the world, taking on South Africa, ranked number 60. Well, we all remember that game in 2010, don't we? When South Africa, the host nations on that occasion, took the lead courtesy of Siphi Shabalala and Rafa Marquez, equalizing in the second half. Welcome to the stream, Mr. Minas. Welcome, buddy. It's World Cup time. Club football will take a back seat, and it's all about the international stage. Mexico City will be a party here today. Estadio Azteca playing host. We saw them 1970 with Pele, 1986 with Diego Maradona, and the nation that plays host to three different World Cups now start their World Cup campaign. Well, this is starting early today, Hamad, isn't it? A 12:30 game for the World Cup. This one will be an early kickoff for us. The 3:30 and the 6:30, 7:30 games are going to be really tricky once the tournament progresses. I know that Brazil's playing Morocco, if I'm not mistaken. That's a 3:30 game. Well, you say that there's no big transfers before the World Cup. Well, Florentino Perez, just before the kickoff of the World Cup, did announce that Jose Mourinho will be the Real Madrid manager next season. So nothing in terms of big names, because the big names are all out there with their nations. And it's all about World Cup time. Well, 2022 in Qatar, that was massive, wasn't it? With Argentina finally breaking their long-awaited duck, with Lionel Messi crowned as the best player. You ain't watching anything. That's not a big enough match. That's the thing with the group stages. I mean, because it's an extended format, there are 12 groups with 4 teams each. The top 2 qualify immediately. And then there's the 12 teams that are finishing third will again compete for the other 12 positions. It's a long, drawn-out process. Not going to lie for you. I mean, it's going to be difficult. The group stages are going to be very difficult to navigate through. You're going to see a lot of nations for the first time playing against more established nations, which are going to be a foregone conclusion, really. But then, of course, once knockout football starts in the World Cup, that's when things get really serious. Yep, Jose has been announced, not officially. It was been reported by all the outlets, Aman, but yep, officially from the Real Madrid Twitter page, it was said that Jose Mourinho will take over next season. And we can see with some of their transfers already, right? They've got Ibrahima Konate from Real Madrid on a free transfer, and then Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan for about 20 million euros. That's a bit of shrewd business, and you can always see that Jose Mourinho mark on the team already. And South Africa, they played host in 2010. They got grouped in 2002 and 1998 as well. It's just their 4th World Cup here for South Africa. Still a proud nation, still representing their nation on the big stage. As for Mexico, 2022 in Qatar, didn't go according to plan. They're getting grouped. For a team like Mexico is certainly was a devastating blow, considering 2018 and 2014. They lost in the round of 16, first to Brazil in 2018 and, of course, to Netherlands in Brazil. Mexico hoping that they use home turf to their advantage and go one step further, doing live watch-alongs after the Champions League final, Aman. It's the first one since that day. That could have had a string of emotions, went up and down. If you're an Arsenal fan, it started off perfectly and ended up in tears. With South Korea and Czechia as the other 2 nations in this Group A, all 4 teams will feel that there's very much a shout to make it to the next phase of the tournament. Not going to be easy with Mexico having home support, a much better team. Pretty much all of their team plays in the local league. I think Johan Vasquez plays for Genoa. Cesar Montes, the skipper, plays for Lokomotiv Moscow. Other than that, I think the rest of the team pretty much plied their trade in the Mexican league. Yep, Fidalgo does play for Betis, and Raul Jimenez, of course, the centre forward for Wolverhampton Wanderers. 46 goals in 126 games for Raul Jimenez with a number 9 on his back. 9 goals and 3 assists for the centre forward. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how both sides go up about their business. Javier Aguirre, he was the coach in 2010. He's had about a couple of different stints with Mexico. Now been the coach since 2024, looking to possibly give Mexico their best finish in the World Cup. Well, the Mexican team will be certainly pumped. They've got the crowd, and they've got opening day privilege once again. The rematch of the 2010 World Cup opener. That occasion, it was South Africa who paid host. This time, Mexico repays the favor. It is a monumental day at the Estadio Azteca. What a stadium this is. It's got history. It looks absolutely modern now, and it's ready for the 2026 World Cup opening day clash. Well, South Korea will take on Czechia at about 7:30 India time. Only 2 games today to start off Group A, and both teams will be looking to get off to a fly here. Mexico, they see their flag being flown over the Estadio Azteca. It looks absolutely beautiful there, and these two teams will be pumped enough to go out there and give it their absolute best. Well, team news for Mexico: Raul Rangel plays in goal. Jesus Gallardo as the left back, Johan Vasquez and Cesar Montes as 2 centre halves. Israel Reyes plays as right back for the Mexicans with Fidalgo, Eric Lira and Brian Gutierrez as the midfield 3. And then, of course, Julian Quinones playing on the left-hand side with Roberto Alvarado on the right with Raul Jimenez leading the line for Mexico. Hey, welcome to the stream, Gautam. What's up, what's up, what's up? It's been a while since the Champions League final. The sleep cycle is definitely going for a toss. Luckily, the group games aren't really too much to follow. They're an odd group game you'll see with probably Argentina. Brazil's first game's good. France taking on Senegal. But other than that, the group games can pretty much skip over. I mean, it's an extended format as well. 12 groups, 4 teams each. The top 2 qualify automatically. And then, of course, the third place teams of the 12 groups will go head-to-head to cement the rest of the spots for the knockouts. Well, Ochoa is unfortunately not in goal though, Gautam. It is Raul Rangel, goalkeeper of Chivas, who's going to be between the sticks for the host nation. As South Africa line up for the team photograph. They were the hosts in 2010. Haven't qualified for the World Cup since then, so 16 years in the making for South Africa. It looks absolutely brilliant, doesn't it? The Azteca, just a magnificent stadium, steeped in history, and of course a bit of a modern touch to it. Wonderful stadium. There's some way to kick the World Cup off. Just want a good game, don't we? Got the match officials from Brazil and the 4th official from Paraguay. Well, Mexico will start as favourites. Home team, home crowd. Hopefully, we see an improvement on VAR, man. Almost like the World Cup, you need something to happen on the big stage if you need any sort of changes. Of course, Lampard scored that goal in 2010, which was disallowed, and that brought on the goal decision system. Sometimes it takes something a bit drastic, and of course, conditions will be tricky. The altitude will play a huge part. That's something the home side will be able to cope a lot better. As you mentioned before, Raul Rangel, Jesus Gallardo, Johan Vasquez, Cesar Montes, Israel Reyes, Eric Lira as the number 6, Fidalgo and Brian Gutierrez as the 2 8s, with Julian Quinones and Roberto Alvarado as the 2 wingers supplying for Raul Jimenez. Jimenez, 46 goals in 126 caps for Mexico. Absolutely stunning player for him. Tries his trade for Wolves. We saw him at Fulham as well. As for South Africa, Williams in goal. Bukazi Ime-Ukon, who plays his trade for Hanover, and Sipsi playing as the right-sided centre-half. Aubrey Moduba, Teboho Mokino, Sithole and Jaden Adams as the midfield 3, with Kuloso Mudau playing as the right wing-back by the looks of it. Ikram Reyners will be partnering Lyle Foster, who plays for Burnley in the Premier League, as the 2 centre-forwards for South Africa. Hugo Broos, the Belgian, who's the head coach for South Africa. Hey, looking to see how they enforce the anti-Arsenal rule at set pieces. Well, fingers crossed for that. You need to see a lot more football. Hopefully the World Cup is a turn of that, from going from pragmatic, set-piece oriented game to a bit more of the football that we once loved. Well, the World Cup, the biggest showcase on the planet. Mexico players, well, the blood will be pumping through their veins. That adrenaline, if they could bottle it up and sell it, they would be millionaires. This is a big, big occasion for them. Representing your country, playing the first game at home in front of that brilliant stadium, Estadio Azteca, playing host to Mexico, possibly registering their all 3 points for the first group game. Well, Czechia and South Korea, the other 2 teams in Group A, will be watching along, as we're expecting Mexico to take all 3 points, but South Africa can provide an upset if they're all up for the task. Raul Jimenez, Fulham centre forward, leading the line. We're expecting him to find the back of the net. So, boys, we're all set for the World Cup. Predictions in terms of the scoreline and who's going to get the first goal of this World Cup. The 2026 FIFA World Cup in Mexico begins, and it's Mexico who kick things off. And we're off and running. It's time for the World Cup. Club football will have to take a back seat. It's time for the boys in the international stage to step up. Immediately you can see that Mexico on the ball are in their back 3. Israel Reyes, just making sure that he tucks in as the right-sided centre-half. Very interesting to see this setup here early on from Mexico. On the right-hand side, Cesar Montes. Again, they'll try and stretch the pitch as much as possible here, Mexico, using their wing-backs. Well, is my stream behind? Maybe, I guess. I'm getting 40 or 50 seconds on the clock. YouTube, of course, is 30 seconds behind. So that will be a lag, unfortunately. Well, it is what it is. I think I faced the same quote-unquote issue in the Premier League as well. Here's Eric Lira. See the number 6 just dropping in, making sure that they just able to manipulate that ball from the central areas. Now on the left-hand side, South Africa immediately in their low block. Yep, 123 on my clock here. The YouTube clock will be slightly different. Here's Alvarado. Good win there in the midfield there from South Africa's point of view. Good turn. Jaden Adams switches it onto the right-hand side for Mudau. Now, South Africa can play out the back here. We'll see how they perform. Nicely played into midfield. That should give them a bit of confidence. Onto the right-hand side. Mexico will know that they will be tested. South Africa will try and punch slightly over their weight. Number 60 in the world, of course, South Africa. Mexico, number 14. Mexico do have, I think, 6 or 7 of their players who do ply their trade in the Mexican League. Got Raul Jimenez, Fidalgo, who plays for Betis, Johan Vasquez for Genoa and Cesar Montes, the skipper for Lokomotiv Moscow. Javier Aguirre, head coach for Mexico. He was on the sidelines in 2010 because Rafa Marquez scored the equalizer for Mexico. Rafa Marquez, legendary player, played centre half for Barcelona, played in midfield for Mexico in that World Cup. My favorite for the World Cup, Gautam. Poof. I mean, it's gonna have to be like Argentina and France right there. But I'm gonna have to give Spain a lot of credit. I'm gonna put them really close to France, but just gonna shade it to Argentina. May not be the obvious favorites. France start pretty much every World Cup as favorites, but I think Argentina, the South Americans, a bit more accustomed to the conditions. Lionel Messi getting those 20-minute cameos off the bench could be a lethal weapon. Brazil, nah, I don't think so. I think I'll put Brazil in the Portugal and England category where they've got excellent players, no doubt, but they might just flatter to deceive. Portugal's got this Bruno Fernandes for the Ballon d'Or. Bruno Fernandes is going to play in the midfield with Vitinha and João Neves. No excuse, Bruno. Got to step up. Of course, they have a small issue of Ronaldo playing centre forward. Unlike Messi, I think, who's accepted a reduced role, Ronaldo wants to continue being the main man. Certainly his final World Cup, but the last World Cup for Messi and Neymar also. So the big three in the 2010s getting one last round. There's a chance here. It's a brilliant strike. Oh, magnificent save by Williams. That was hit with force and was on target. Mexico down the right-hand side, causing all sorts of problems. The ball falls very kindly on the left foot to Raul Jimenez, who catches it sweet. But it's a very good save by Williams. It was not quite in the corner, but it was low enough. Williams with a very good save. Corner for Mexico. Williams punches, but not too far. Mexico reload. The ball played slightly overhit. Mexico keep the danger alive. South Africa just about clear. It's not the most convincing bit of clearance. Mexico keep the danger alive somehow, and a chance for South Africa now to counterattack. Is a run forward. Well played, kept it nice and short. And lovely pass onto the left-hand side. Oh, it's a near perfect counter-attack there by South Africa. Lyle Foster, of course, trying to get on the end of it. The two Premier League strikers nearly making their mark here. This was Raul Jimenez on his left foot. Great save there by Williams. Welcome, Manny. Welcome. Of course, you got the Z5 subscription going. We're going to be a loyal subscriber, aren't we? For the next, 2 World Cups? Better don't fuck up. So far, the stream's holding fine. Quality is good. Z took a lot of shit early on, but they came in clutch. And since nobody else was interested, we got to pay deference to Z5. There's South Africa now in midfield. Nice punch pass. They're looking confident. Just as I say that, Lyle Foster just overhits that on that occasion. Ikram Renes, the second centre forward for South Africa, as Hugo Bruce playing a 2 centre forward system. South Africa have something about them. Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, the extended version of the tournament isn't really going to grab a lot of eyeballs, but for a lot of countries, they're going to be playing with something way beyond them. Getting an opportunity in the World Cup. Cape Verde and South Africa. Going to see a lot of teams playing a lot more than their ranking suggests. Reyes on the right-hand side. On to the left-hand side is Gallardo. Good push forward from the left back. Eric Lila finding Julian Quinones. This is good ball movement here on the left-hand side. Again, do Mexico go? Lovely push and run, and it's a corner for Mexico. Good defending there by Kuliso Mudau, the right wing back, having to track the run of the left winger on that occasion. Jesus Gallardo from left back, making that run down the touchline. Time for Bafana. Bafana. Oh, it looked like a corner in the first instinct, but turns into just a goal kick. Good defending there by Mudau. Well, so far so good for South Africa. They'll know that Mexico will be playing with a lot of adrenaline, pressing from the front, not allowing South Africa to build. Talked about the pretenders. Some of the dark horses are from the African continent. Put Senegal and Morocco there. Those are two teams with real quality. How do they cope with the altitude? That's one thing, but the heat is something that they'll be accustomed to. This tournament is a showcase of the diaspora. Cape Verde, Curacao, full of Dutch players. I mean, exactly. See a lot of players who wouldn't have represented their quote-unquote home nation getting an opportunity, man. Playing in the World Cup, something that comes across once every 4 years. Expect to give your best with the whole world watching. Imani, is your scoreboard issue with Z5 okay? I mean, I'm finding it a little too removed. Maybe it's just my issue, though. But so far, so good for South Africa, but we saw that Raul Jimenez strike did keep them honest. Mexico always has excellent jerseys, don't they? Oh, they've given the ball away on the left-hand side. This could be the first goal, and it is! The World Cup 2026 has its first goal. Julian Quinones buries it from close range, and Mexico have the lead. Well, it's a mess at the back for South Africa. They give the ball away. Mexico pounce on them, and it's a clubbing blow. South Africa started the game pretty well, get punished, and the co-hosts are on the board. Terrific finish that. Again, it starts with the goalkeeper. South Africa look comfortable here. This first touch is too heavy. Is on him like a flash. Good couple of touches. It goes right through the goalkeeper. It's a real mess. So fellow Sito loses the ball. Look how quickly Eric Lira's on there. And from there, Quinones makes sure that he gets it on target. Poor there from South Africa, unfortunately. Seen that exact goal a million times. Exactly. It doesn't matter who it is. You've seen even the top teams get caught out there. When your goalkeeper plays to your number 6 and he gets caught out, you're finished. You're at the mercy of the striker. Something that teams will have to learn, but seeing that teams are going to keep playing this way, man. They're going to try keep building out the back, but hoofball doesn't exist anymore. Will Mexico get the opening goal? Something that we almost expected, but not in the manner of which it went in. Mexico know that now that they do have their claws in the game, they can control it with a little bit more, but South Africa have to make sure that they're the best. But now with a hefty challenge on the goal scorer, Julian Quinones, remember the name. It's going to be asked in a bar trivia at some point. It was a good strike from him. It was straight at the goalkeeper. And yeah, I know you got the plan, but so do I. But the scoreboard is almost missing. Maybe it's on full screen, that's why. But Hugo Bruce, South African, seeing his side, well, the Belgian reader, head coach for South Africa, would have been slightly enthused with the way the game started. But having seen that opening goal go in the manner of which it went in, slight sour taste in the mouth. Here's Raul Rangel, hoping to see Guillermo Ochoa in goal, but still there in the squad. Man who's made legendary saves, made his name in the World Cup. We really got to see him excel in the club football realm, but certainly when you mention his name, gets the respect. Again, good play this from Mexico. Very calm with the ball. Brilliant switch out onto the left-hand side. Slightly overhit, but Raul Jimenez does very well. Johan Vasquez with a beautiful switch out there. We know that Raul Jimenez is a willing runner and he'll keep running those channels. Seen Kuliso Mudau being put under a lot of work already. This Modelo is hitting different right now. But it's a certain choice. It's when England play the World Cup, Gautam, it's gonna be a party there, especially if they do make a deepish run. Corner for Mexico, it's a free header. There's a chance there for Eric Lira. Should be comfortable for Williams, and it is. Z5 should put an under the sun commentary on the stream along with Hindu, Telugu, etc. Manny, pitch it. You've got the influence, you've got the know-how, you've got the contacts. Put me in, coach. Yes, Hitol. Oh, again, nice looking punch pass there. Trying to just bypass the Mexico midfield with quick pass. Bit more decisiveness needed. Well, the Mexicans know what they're doing in terms of drinks, Gautam. They've got the tequila down to a pat. The beer is excellent. And Mexico building with the back three. South Africa forced to push forward. Mexico bypassed it with a long ball by Rangel. Jesus Gallardo. Run from deep. South Africa don't really track it but defend it well enough. And just struggling to keep hold of the ball. Mexico not looking to really take hold of it. Who even is on the English comms? I have no idea. Manny, who's on English comms for Indian World Cup? Have they gotten Peter Drury for the big gig? I'm not really sure. Well, the panel was pretty lackluster. They've got Paul Mansfield. You remember him? All those years ago, Star Sports. He's still there. Yeah, but it's not the best panel. I'm not really sure, but Uliso Mudau has been a pretty enterprising shift from the right wing back. He's been up and down that touchline. Although we need to go to a World Cup Euros. Amen. We do. We absolutely need to. If they get the ticket prices under check, maybe. I mean, not sure whether or not it's just because it's happening in North America, but the tickets that we've seen in the World Cup in America, it's a joke. Big games, forget about it. Maybe we can watch a dusty group game, but yeah, pretty much. Manny having a Cristalino shot for every World Cup. Every goal that Mexico scores this World Cup. Is it a Cristalino or a Don Julio? Either way, Mexicans will definitely be on top of it. This was the opening goal in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Julian Quinones hitting from closest range. Oh, it's just the Americans, isn't it? Capitalism at its finest, isn't it? Good run on the right-hand side. Brian Gutierrez from midfield, finding himself on the right-hand side. South Africa double team Gutierrez and win the free kick. They've got Eric Lira just sitting in as that number 6, allowing Fidalgo and Brian Gutierrez, the two number 8s, to make those runs in the half spaces. That Eric Lira role, so critical. Bekizeli Bokazi goes very long with his clearance. 2 out of back 3 for South Africa plied their trade in the MLS. Bokazi for Chicago Fire and Sipsy for Orlando Pirates. Keep it short again. Better this from South Africa. Can patient play. I like what they're doing though. Right ideas. They're trying that punch pass between the lines. Always a useful weapon. I like teams who do that. Can't keep it in midfield though. Mexico keep it comfortably. That's a risky pass, and he knew the challenge is coming, and it comes at full clip. Will be a yellow card. It's a bit of a hospital pass when you think about it. When you're playing your number 6 there, when you know that there could be a challenge coming from either side. He does well to control it, but powerless to ultimately stop the on-rushing challenge. Well, that was a ball that was just left slightly short there for Fidalgo. Best referee jersey. Manny, that is a interesting observation. It's just a black jersey. What am I missing? Is there some sort of a embroidery on it that makes it the best jersey? South Africa can possibly out PNP Mexico, but I'm not sure about the technical quality. Well, don't really discount Mexico in the PNP department. especially with the altitude. That plays a huge factor, man. Out of breath, and suddenly you feel like, oh, it's only 20 minutes on the clock and I still have another 70 to go. Here's Sibisi. Plays it nice into midfield. Again, South Africa having nice ideas. Fortunately for them, they have not been able to execute the pass. Manny, I saw the message. Respect. Javier Aguirre, be happy with the start. Raul Jimenez did pull out a good save from Williams. That should have been a warning sign. That was well crafted by Mexico. But the goal that eventually came was a real mess. Fepelo Sithole getting caught on the ball. When your goalkeeper gives you that ball and you're facing the goal, you better get shouts from everybody, every teammate. Get robbed there, you're just fully exposed. Well, Mexico will be looking for the second before half-time. South Africa, the longer they can keep this at 1-0, feel like they're in business. Group's looking a lot more balanced. You can see Group A. Mexico will certainly have themselves as favorites to possibly top the group. South Korea is a very good team. Czech Republic, see what they're all about tomorrow. Good pass, very good take by Alvarado on the right-hand side, and the run continues here by Gutierrez. Here's Alvarado again. Good football this from Mexico. And it's all with patience and now punched in nicely. This is the goal scorer, Quinones, with the strike. He struck it well, full of confidence. Nobody really closing down the winger. Good first touch. Takes the long route around the defender. Then I think he might have struck the steward there from distance. Crushing blow. Roof of the net. Should have passed that. Well, I get it. But he's in so much space. You just know that once you've gotten that opening goal, turn and shoot is something that you expect your wingers to do. We saw Guillermo Ochoa. Might see him in the World Cup at some point. Not sure South Africa will be affected by altitude. That Joburg Stadium is at 1750 meters above sea level. Thanks for the stat there, Gautam. Again, going to put that in the back of my mind. Well, then let's see then, South Africa, whether or not they can out PNP the home side. I'm pretty comfortable for Mexico, but South Africa have shown some decent signs. 20 minutes on the clock here. Estadio Azteca. Beautiful stadium. Pele in 1970, Maradona in 1986, all historic events. This very ground. Again, South Africa moved the ball beautifully. Nicely played here. Oh, again, it's that last pass that's just deserting them. Playing some good stuff though. Fair play to Hugo Bruce. Just coached his side, South Africa, to just make sure that they keep the yellow cards to a minimum. Kuliso Mudau has been all over that pitch. Bit of a rash challenge. It's lucky he didn't pick up a yellow card. The referee just asking for a bit of calm. Played it short. Either way, thoughts on Bernardo Silva to Madrid. What the hell? When did that happen? I knew he was going to leave, but Madrid is certainly an interesting destination for Bernardo Silva. He's got the technical quality. It's almost like a Jose Mourinho player, like a Oscar with a bit more quality in the final third. Bernardo Silva is no spring chicken though. Is that confirmed news, Manny, or are you just chucking out names? That's a big call. That's Roberto Carlos and Cafu. Two of the greatest fullbacks. South Africa in the final third associate. Oh my days. It's just that final pass that's deserting them. They're playing some decent stuff though. Playing better than I expected. Not gonna lie. 45 minutes back, Fabrizio announced, well, Madrid trying to hog the spotlight before the World Cup. Announced Jose Mourinho officially before kickoff, and now apparently Bernardo Silva Getting a Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. And South Africa might be in business here. The goalkeeper parried, and good bit of defending there by Gallardo. Just made himself as big as possible. Struck his arm, but both his arms were tucked inside his body. Here's Mokena. Gets the touch, but falls late. They wanted to play advantage, but Mokena getting the benefit of doubt, and it's a yellow card here for Gutierrez. Now that's the thing. Real Madrid just trying to hog the spotlight before the World Cup. Florentino Perez doing everything in his power to secure the presidency. So I'm trying to put that £150 million bid on Julian Alvarez. I mean, that is audacious. Now everybody knows that Madrid have that 150 million just laying about. Crying South Africa play like the Zerbies Brighton in the first third on the pitch and resort to nothing but shin kicking on the rest of the pitch. That is pretty accurate. As I said, some of the football that they're playing is really good stuff, man. Just a matter of time before one of them click. It's all about trying to take your chance in the final third, but South Africa can take quite a bit of encouragement. Of course, the goal that they did concede came off a mistake. It's not like Mexico carved them open. Number 6 gets caught on the ball that way. There's not much you can do as a team. And South Africa can try and hit back with a set piece here. Ball from the far side. We will see whether or not Mexico can defend the set piece. Cross comes in from the right-hand side. Good bit of defending. Ball played by Mbokazaki. Well defended. And now Quinones can have a run. And South Africa close them down nicely as we are into the 25th minute. Julian Quinones' opener after the mistake from South Africa, giving Mexico the perfect start. We'll see water breaks, don't we? Yep. 25 minutes on the clock. Hot conditions in Mexico. Players getting a decent breather here as Julian Quinones' goal, the difference maker between the two teams. South Africa can take a lot of encouragement. What I like about them is they're emphasizing central progression. I really rate teams that like going through the middle. Just shows you that you need a high technical ceiling for that. The players need to be comfortable on the turn. And then, of course, find that vision and execution with the pass between the lines. South Africa has done quite a few decent things, but they've not been able to stitch together a decent attack so far. Raul Jimenez has had a sighter at goal. His left-footed effort was well saved by Williams. A few minutes later, Williams powerless to stop the Quinones goal. What the fuck, man. Breaks. Advertisements in the World Cup. Damn it. Can't escape them. It's the one thing we love about football, don't we? No ad breaks. Well, Z5 know that they're going to have to cash in on the revenue. It's a real Brahma, man. Look at this. Oh, it's for you as well? Great. It's so bad. I mean, that's the one thing we hold so dear to the game, right? No breaks in play, no stoppages, no ads. First game of the World Cup, they just kill all of that. Jeez, man. Is the game still not on? What the hell? How long is the water break? This is scandalous. BCCI was so ahead of the game. BCCI put in ads. Any break of play, slip one ad through quickly. But this is a bummer, man. What the hell is going on? Is the game not on for you guys as well? Am I facing some sort of difficulties? Or is Z5 getting punished for their greed? Come on! Jeez. They snuck in 3 or 4 ads. Absolutely criminal, these guys, man. Anyways, we're back on. Julian Quinones' goal. The difference between the two sides as Mexico get things up and running. Yep, just started again. The greed, man. Sheer greed. Imagine the half time. It's going to be even worse. Ooh, such a risk taken there by Raul Rangel. South Africa defend in a highish bit of a line. Decent first touch on the left-hand side. Venture forward, Aubrey Modiba. Holding the width on the left-hand side. Him and Khaliso Mudau both responsible for the width for South Africa. VC finds Ime Ocon. Ime Ocon starts for Hanover. Some of the South African players plying their trade in Europe. South Africa trying to muscle their way here. Win the second ball. Played into midfield. There's Buzkazi. Much better this. Mokina. The hydration break isn't about player safety. It's just an excuse to show more gambling and beer ads. I mean, come on. That's very obvious, isn't it? They don't give a fuck about player safety. Give me a break. It's never about player safety. Exactly. Just squeeze in few more ads. Why not? Game's gone. Game's absolutely gone. We knew that, didn't we? Mexico just struggling to open up the South African shape here. Good press. Mexico again play out with a bit of calmness out the back. There's Vasquez. Mexico playing a very slow brand of football. Maybe getting the opening goal would have settled them a lot more. Lira plays it into midfield. Quinones shifts it onto the left-hand side. Looking for the 1-2. Gets it back, the goal scorer. That's a clever pass onto the left-hand side for Brian Gutierrez. Creates a bit of space. Good strike. Well blocked. Madao can clear that away. And South Africa need to do better. Slightly better in the final third. Let's get those passes going. Lyle Foster and Ikram Renes getting very little service. Here's Fidalgo. There's Quinones. Goes for the big switch. Lovely take there by Alvarado. Beautifully done. Good football this from Mexico. First time whip ball in. Comfortable for Williams. Much better there from Mexico. Just to inject a bit of quality and pace into the attack. South Africa take a huge gamble and just about pays off. Oof, so risky there by Bukazi. Conceding in that manner to take that kind of a risk clearly shows that the coach wants them to persist with this style. Skipper Williams goes long. Comfortable for Johan Vasquez, the centre-half from Genoa. On to midfield. Israel Reyes playing as a right back. Now Mexico with the back four with the ball. Jesus Gallardo plays it first time. Well defended by South Africa. Did I catch the Knicks game's absolute madness? Oh my goodness me. Knicks are a game away from New York descending into chaos, anarchy. The fact that San Antonio just threw away the 25-point lead with some low IQ basketball was, I mean, it really helps, but fair play to Knicks, man. Their postseason record is absolutely sensational. Looks like they're going to break that, 52, 53-year drought? And New York is going to be absolutely wild. Yep, clearly Spurs, it translates to basketball. That should not happen in the finals, man, especially when you're 2-0 down, you pull a game back to go 2-2. Instead, you throw it away, and there was some really low IQ stuff going on towards the end as well. You saw De'Aaron Fox trying to run your experienced point guard, goes for the layup, gets blocked, and the next possession, Knicks end up scoring. So, lots to ponder for San Antonio Spurs. Well, Victor Wembanyama winning the NBA title in his second year would be truly a cheat code. I mean, that kid needs to face a bit of adversity in life. It all comes to him so swimmingly early on. Oh, what a pass that is on the left-hand side. And Audrey Modiba makes the run. And goes for the whip ball into the box. Well defended. It's a corner for South Africa. Good ball forward. Looked offside. Yes, he was. Let me going out sad Again, it's just his second season, man. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. He's a cheat code, though. 7'5", he can shoot the lights out. Unreal defender. So annoying. Jeez. He's an absolute superstar, dude. He doesn't cow down. He doesn't bow down to the American norms. He wants to give it. He's going to have to take it as well, though, unfortunately. But the future's bright for Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Imagine that, right? Like, imagine that happens in football. You're so bad for so many years, and your reward is getting a generational alien just fall onto your lap and just changes the trajectory of your franchise for the next 5 or 7 years. When you see failure being rewarded in the Premier League, right? Because teams that are getting relegated are getting paid more than probably the Bundesliga champions, but that's a different kind of reward when you're, because clubs don't know what to do with money, really. Some clubs do, but South Africa continue playing some very good stuff. Again, that last pass has just completely deserted them, man. Kuliso Mudau has every reason to ask Lyle Foster, how can you not find me from there? It's a 5-yard pass. Hey, Pierluigi Collina is there. So is Carlos Puyol and Marco Materazzi. That's David Silva. Damn. He's grown his hair back. Nice to see that. Wemby is very young, and despite the advantage of both his talent and size, he isn't being well coached. His game and his manner both lack maturity. He plays mean, not smart. Again, that's spot on. But San Antonio Spurs, again, like I said, there's just been a nothing franchise for all those years, a good 10 years. And suddenly, the generational talent just falls onto their lap via the lottery system. So the fact that he's got them in the finals with that squad just shows you the elevation he brings in terms of a franchise player. It's good play here by Alvarado. I've been very impressed with Roberto Alvarado. Good close control. Here's Quinones. Shifts it onto the left-hand side. Mexico looking for the second here. Good save by Williams. Could have very easily just parried it onto an on-rushing attacker, but manages to latch onto the ball. Mexico seeing their patience being rewarded here. Two Mexico players attacking the far post. Nobody really making the run at the near stick. As we approach last 10 minutes of the first half. It's been a decent World Cup opener. Remember who played in 2022? Qatar was there. And who else? Played Qatar in the first game. That World Cup feels like a blur, man. The fact that it happened in winter, in December. It's a crazy World Cup. This Quinones fella is so West Ham coded. West Ham, when they had money, they would have certainly made the play. But now that they're in the championship, they'll have to be a bit more wiser about their scouting. I mean, they had some 50 million to spend, man, West Ham, and they spent it on two literal nobodies in attack. I mean, we were hoping that Spurs would do us all a favor, but West Ham didn't help themselves. Decent resurgence, but Graham Potter, he's there for Sweden. We're going to see him leading the Swedish side. Graham Potter's got Victor Gyökeres and Alexander Isak as his two centre forwards. Wait and see how the Swedish side do end up lining up as Jesus Gallardo plays it into midfield. That's a horrific touch. Into midfield, there's so much space and he gives it away. South Africa do much better with the ball though. Shifts it onto the right-hand side. Here's Mudau. It was Qatar versus Ecuador. Woof! Remember the scoreline for that? I have no idea. Humdinger of a clash. Again, decent clip ball in. Oh, decent header. Lyle Foster leaps up nicely. 10 goals for South Africa. 10 and 30 for Lyle Foster. Finding himself between both centre halves and just direct his header. better there from South Africa's point of view. That's their first real chance that they've created in this World Cup. Well, FIFA need to get their first game sorted, man, in the World Cup. It makes so much difference. Yes, you need the host nation to kick things off, but can do a better job. I mean, Mexico, South Korea, would that be a better game? Possibly. More evenly matched, I would say, but South Africa, fair play. Fair play to them, man. Well, Mexico would love to just get into halftime with the lead. As look comfortable. What a pass onto the right-hand side. There's Alvarado. Alvarado's kept the ball every time it's been fizzed at him. Mexico go for the switch of play onto the left-hand side. Here's Jesus Gallardo. Finds Cesar Montes. Eric Lira. Between the lines. South Africa almost playing at a standing start here. Nobody really mobile. Keeping it short. There's Montes. Finds Johan Vasquez. Lira being put under pressure. That's much better there from South Africa. They know that every time the number 6, Eric Lira, has the ball, have to shut him down immediately, force Mexico to go slightly longer with their play. Foul was given. It was late. Just a warning shot there, basically, that can't just pass it into your number 6 expecting him to have a comfortable ride out there, but crunching challenge. It's probably winded there rather than being caught. No yellow card. That was the right call there from the ref. Heading into the final stage of the first half. A South Africa goal would be absolutely lovely in terms of a spectacle. There's Montes. Finds Reyes. Mexico showcasing their passing, and they've given the ball away. South Africa not being able to capitalize. Here's Lira. On to the right-hand side. Gutierrez just leaves it short. South Africa, tough tackling. Not giving Mexico an easy ride out there. Again, Mbokazi just goes in, lunging in. Shows a bit of studs, but gets the ball too. Here's Mexico now. 5 minutes remaining. What has been a reasonably competitive first half here. Last thing you want is Mexico just utterly dominating and scoring another couple of goals, which will pretty much kill this as a spectacle. Here's Lira. Finds Fidalgo. Jesus Gallardo. Lira again. Better football this from Mexico. Lovely stuff. And now Brian Gutierrez nearly threads it through to Raul Jimenez. Well defended, but South Africa give the ball away. Mexico looking for that second before half-time. Here's Gallardo finding the goal scorer. Here's Quinones. Finds Brian Gutierrez. Powering forward to Israel Reyes. South Africa quickly back into their defensive block. Mexico looking for the quick switch there, but well defended. Lovely first touch. Cross comes into the box. There's a chance for what a save by Williams. At full stretch, that is a magnificent reach from the skipper. Raul Jimenez bends his run. He might have been flagged offside. Just about gets a decent touch on it. Great save there by Williams. Full stretch, full extension. He's been a huge part as to why the scoreline still remains 1-0. Curious play there by Eric Lira, but they come out with the ball. Here's Fidalgo finding Quinones. Good burst of pace to get away from the marker. Quinones with the strike deflection. Onto the right-hand side, stays alive here. There's a chance for Quinones. Hits the post. That should have been 2-0 to Mexico. South Africa catch life. Again, South Africa struggling to get rid of the ball. And Mbokazi happy to eat the foul on that occasion. Great play again, this from Mexico. Again, bit of fortune, but this bit of play is lovely. Quinones does everything right there. Side foot. Not looking to power that, just looking to place it into the corner. South Africa will consider themselves fortunate. We've seen some decent football, lads. It's the least you can expect or ask for. As I mentioned before, a South Africa goal. That's something that we need to see. That'll wake the contest up. So far, it looks pretty comfortable for Mexico. And they win the ball quite comfortably and they turn out of trouble very nicely. Beautiful football. Here's Fidalgo. Mexico now looking for that second. Long ball forward for Raul Jimenez. Well defended. Here's Aubrey Modiba. Nigeria really bottled it, man. There's no way they couldn't qualify over the South African team, with all due respect to them. I mean, it's shocking that Nigeria aren't in the World Cup. All that quality that they have, it's just gross mismanagement. And even in an extended format, how the hell is a team with Nigeria's quality not qualifying for the World Cup? It's a failure. It's an institutional failure, really. And fair play to South Africa, but going to have a pick between South Africa and Nigeria. Nigeria certainly comes out on top, but if you had the chance to try and qualify, FIFA giving you enough of a rope and you're still not able to hold on to it, that's on you, bro. Change of angle there from the corner, taking it short, well cleared, recycled. Oh, he went for the strike. That was hit with some power. Ekizeli Mbukazi really caught hold of that. Very good strike. There's Gallardo. Approaching the final half a minute. It's been an intriguing watch. William Quinones' goal. Difference maker between the two sides. Quinones did strike the post. Raul Jimenez drawing a couple of very good saves of the goalkeeper Williams. Here's Johan Vasquez. Mexico want runners in front, but everybody pretty much static. And now they've broken the offside trap here. Quinones might get there first. Williams is quickly off his line. Hammers that clear. Turns into a very good pass, but needed extraordinary control to try and bring that down. Well, 4 minutes of added on time signaled by the fourth official. It should never have been 4 minutes, man. This is all because of the water break. Here's Eric Lira. Shifts it on to the right-hand side for Israel Reyes. Here's Gallardo. Mexico might have to work slightly more in the second half, but again, the chances that they've created, the saves that they have drawn, shows you they're in good stead here to try and take all 3 points in the opener of the FIFA World Cup. Raul Jimenez runs the channel. Good header. Well defended there. And Mbukazi has been pretty much in the highlight reel. He's defended well. He's been asked to play out the back from that left-sided centre-half position and hit a very nice strike from distance. Here's Raul Jimenez. Inviting his left back forward. Deflection. Does well to prevent the corner. Jesus Gallardo has been further forward, comparing him to the other fullback, Israel Reyes, who's been a bit more reserved in terms of his positioning. And this is where South Africa need to do better here. Once they approach the halfway line, see a bit more in terms of their passing. Decides to switch the play out onto the left-hand side. Good touch there from Modiba. Looks to go on the outside. Somehow still has possession. Here's Aubrey Modiba. Tiba tries to go on the outside, but far too predictable there. You just knew that the left wing back rather, was always going to go on the outside. Ends up to be a comfortable defensive assignment for Roberto Alvarado. But the wing backs for South Africa have been enterprising. Alvarado's looked very good on the right-hand side. How's the South Africa keeper not in Europe and fucking Onana is? The math ain't mathing. It certainly isn't. As I mentioned before, we're going to see a lot of players who are going to be playing out of their skins, out of their minds in the World Cup. This is where you can manufacture a massive move in your club career. Oh, South Africa give the ball away. Here's Jimenez onto the left-hand side to Julian Quinones. Quinones does very well. What a clever pass. That is Mexico are in business here. That is a poor finish. Oh, Gutierrez. That is shocking. He had so much time and space. Mexico plays some excellent football here. In the end, he decides to just open his body up. You need to go for the pass there. Decides to just toe poke it in the end. That's pretty much the worst decision, especially when you have someone to pass to. He's not looking for Raul Jimenez there, but Javier Aguirre absolutely fuming with that decision by Brian Gutierrez. 20 seconds remaining. It's been a decent opener here in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. South Africa need to show a bit more, just a little bit more. Ikram Rene is trying to run the channel successfully, unfortunately, for the centre forward. And that just might be that in terms of first half action. Hugo Bruce would be happy to see some of the patterns that his team have adopted in the opening 45 minutes as the referee does blow the halftime whistle as the Estadio Azteca, the home side, getting the perfect start courtesy of Julian Quinones. His close range effort after Sitol gets caught on the ball, and from there the left winger just hammers it in the 9th minute. And from there, Mexico did very well to keep hold of the lead. Had a couple of opportunities to extend their lead. Raul Jimenez, of course, with a couple of opportunities. Quinones striking the base of the post. South Africa will consider themselves rather fortunate that the halftime scoreline is 1-0, and the African side, who have been absent in the World Cup since 2010, will be hoping to get their first points on the board. Halftime here in Mexico City. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. Well, boys, how about that for the first 45 minutes of the World Cup? Hasn't been a snooze fest. I mean, maybe sitting and watching might be a different story. If you're two screening on your phone and watching the World Cup, maybe that tells a bigger story. But the first half has been decent. South Africa have played better than I expected them to. Mexico have played to their standards. We've seen the number 14 team in the world very much looking to flex their muscles, but they'll want a comfortable enough victory, that's for sure. Try and lock up the top 2 spots and directly get into the next stage of the game. Try and avoid the playoffs with the third place teams. Mexico doing the right thing here in the early stages. 1-0 for halftime, boys. I'll be back in about 6 minutes' time for the start of the second half. Of course, South Korea take on Czechia next, as Group A will start to take shape in the FIFA World Cup. Well, we're a couple of minutes away from the start of the second half. Mexico with the 1-0 lead heading into halftime. Julian Quinones, the very good, very well taken goal, and of course, did strike the base of the post with one of his efforts, moving nicely on the left-hand side. Raul Jimenez has looked threatening. Williams has pulled off a couple of very, very good saves for South Africa between the sticks. Absolute critical couple of minutes in the second half for South Africa, really, because if Mexico score the second, it feels like it will be game over. Longer that stays at 1-0, South Africa will feel that they have a chance here. Well, the tables have been turned, isn't it? In 2010, it was South Africa who took the lead courtesy of Sipui Shabalala and Rafa Marquez with the equalizer. Are we going to see a South Africa equalizer in the second half, or will Mexico start off their World Cup campaign with all 3 points? South Korea take on Czechia later on today, which means that Group A will start to take shape here in the World Cup. Well, South Africa have shown some decent bit of plays. The way that they've progressed the ball from their first third to midfield has been pretty impressive, but their final phase of play has been leaving a lot to be left desired. Has to show some sort of improvement. Head coach Hugo Bruce will be making sure that his team get that decision making in the final third absolutely spot on if they need to try and carve open this Mexican defense. Raul Rangel in goal has been rarely threatened. Be hoping that that remains the case in the second half. Mexico, they have the confidence. They've played the better football. They've got the home side. As Estadio Azteca will be hoping that Mexico, come 90 minutes, will have the first 3 points of this season's FIFA World Cup 2026. Argentina, of course, the holders. Until they're knocked out, they will remain the favourites. Yes, France, with their whole host of names that they've got in the forward line, the balance that they have, N'Golo Kante still in midfield at his advanced stage, still running it in midfield alongside Adrian Rabiot. And of course, the defense with Konate, Upamecano, William Saliba, a third choice centre half is quite the wealth that's available to Didier Deschamps. Jules Koundé playing at right back, Lucas Hernandez, Theo Hernandez rather, the left back. France do look like a well-oiled machine, and hoping that they can go one step further this World Cup. Well, a World Cup for France, does that mean another Ballon d'Or for Ousmane Dembele? He's got the Champions League, he's got the league, had a World Cup to that. It'll be very hard to take that Ballon d'Or claim away from Ousmane Dembele. Might go back to back. Talked about the 2022 World Cup. After the first 45 minutes, France looked absolutely out of it. Argentina were 2-0 up. They were cruising. Ousmane Dembele was hooked at half-time. Kylian Mbappe ends up scoring a World Cup final hat-trick. France lose it on pens, and see the trajectory of both those players since then. Expecting Mbappe to go from strength to strength, but a couple of trophyless seasons at Real Madrid, while Ousmane Dembele seems to be completing the clean sweep as the main man in Paris. It'll be very interesting to see that forward dynamics once Jose Mourinho takes that first training session. How Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., the rest of the superstars of Real Madrid respond to Jose Mourinho in 2026 will certainly be a very, very interesting way to see how it progresses there in Madrid. Well, the stadium looks absolutely pristine. The tint of green, the jersey is absolutely magnificent. Woof! It's one for the collector's items, that's for sure. Well, the Mexico fans will be very delighted with the opening 45 minutes, but the job's not done. Still need to try and close out this opener. They'll know that South Africa will be coming on in the second half with a bit more about them. Next goal in the match will be absolutely crucial. Absolutely magnificent. Well, the bench players will certainly play a huge part in the second half. South Africa will be hoping to bring on some of their quicker players off the bench. Seen their wing-backs, Aubrey Modiba and Kuliso Mudau, both venturing forward, keep making those runs. Need to see a bit more from their two centre-forwards, Lyle Foster and Ikram Renes, both getting very little service. Of course, they'll want to try and find Lyle Foster as much as possible, the Burnley centre-forward. 10 goals for South Africa, hoping for his first World Cup goal for South Africa. And they'll absolutely need that if they're going to try and claw their way back into this contest. Mexico looking good for all 3 points. Mexico have been meh. Wouldn't be too worried if you're Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel's worries will start from the quarterfinals. Maybe even round of 16, but England should be good enough for most of the campaign. Got another comfortable group stage to navigate. They lack creativity massively. He's gone for runners. He's gone for a lot of PNP. Jude Bellingham, Morgan Rogers, Anthony Gordon, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke. Tells you all that you need to know that what Thomas Tuchel is looking for in his forward players. They want runners. I'm telling you now, Gautam, when it matters the most, when the stakes are raised, Harry Kane is going to throw it. He's going to chuck it away. He can score all those goals in Bundesliga. Saw it in the Champions League as well when it really mattered for PSG. When they were playing against PSG, he ends up dropping an absolute stinker and scored a goal in stoppage time to pretty much mask that stinker to the whole world watching. And Harry Kane, not having succeeded in World Cup tournaments, maybe this is the season, this is the year, this is the World Cup where Harry Kane steps up and really shows us that he is the world beater that his goal suggests. Well, the Mexico players coming out for the second half, quite a few of them have got huge bags of ice, trying to provide themselves with a bit of a cooling system, really. To chuck it away, you need to actually be present. Just watch. Harry Kane will score quite a few pens in the early stages in the groups. He's going to have 4 goals in 5 games. But when it's crunch time, when it really matters, watch him just get lost in midfield. Well, the players are back for the start of the second half. South Africa looking for the equalizer, while Mexico looking to secure all 3 points to start off their World Cup campaign. South Africa have shown decent patterns, but they need to be a lot better in the second 45 minutes if they're going to try and prize a point away from the home side here. Second half coming to you live from Estadio Azteca. And we're off and running for the start of the second 45 minutes. The opening World Cup game. Julian Quinones scoring the opening goal of this season's World Cup. Came very close to add the second as well. This is where we need to see a bit more from South Africa. Got caught trying to play out the back. Oh, again, they've given the ball away. That's a hopeless mistake. There's a chance of Fidalgo. Went for the cutback. It's well defended. Mbokazi saves them and a strike from distance. Brian Gutierrez really gets hold of that. That was so poor, man. What is that pass from Williams, who's been excellent with his hands? But his distribution has been questionable, to say the least. That's Mexico City Stadium to you. They've changed the name for this World Cup, haven't they? What a terrible move. Estadio Azteca, what an iconic name. To call it the Mexico City Stadium is just... bleh. There's no more class left. Here's Mudau. Good pass into the midfield area. Quinones does very well, and now Mexico play out the back. Here's Fidalgo. Again, Fidalgo having found himself on the right-hand side. He has to pull the trigger from the tight angle. Decided for the cutback. It was well blocked, but again, it all comes from Williams' suicidal pass. Williams better with his feet, going long. Asking a lot out of Ikram Rainiers. Centre forward, getting very little service in that first 45 minutes. Camera quickly pans away from Williams there. That was such a shocking pass, man. Cannot be doing that. Fidalgo from that position should have been a bit more decisive. Jimenez does very well. Here's Quinones. Quinones with a great carry. Jimenez. Back to Quinones. Outstanding football. This from Mexico. Oh, Quinones goes to chip. That is outrageous from the winger. Beautiful football. This from Mexico. The way that they kept it short. Then Quinones full of confidence. It's a commercial reason. Breach of contract with FIFA sponsors if they use a non-FIFA sponsor name for a stadium. That is a whole load of bullshit, isn't it? It is what it is. Mexico City Stadium it is. South Africa need to be careful. They get caught again on the right-hand side. Trying to take the scenic route. They keep the ball. Brother, the South Africa front line. I've seen Vegos and Igalo at my club. This is different levels of trash. They need a bit of service. Centre forwards are not going to be able to do it by themselves. Need a clear-cut chance. Need to try and progress the ball a whole lot better. They've given it away again. Such risky football, but South Africa somehow managed to play through the midfield. Here's Adams. Well defended. Mostly for US stadiums, MetLife, Mercedes-Benz stadiums. Yeah. I think the final is happening in New York, right? Yeah, the South African forwards are really struggling. Then they need service. Look at the way the ball sticks to Raul Jimenez, though. Oh, this is magnificent football. And Brian Gutierrez is making his way through on goal here. Oh, that might be a foul. And if it is, it could be a red card. He is the last man challenge. I think the red card will be brandished. It's a real shame for South Africa. They're down to 10. Brian Gutierrez making his run from midfield. Completely unchecked. And Sithole, who's had a nightmare game. It was his mistake in the first half. And now he's going to be sent off. Real shame there for Swepelo Sithole. He's made the last man run there. And once he's there, he knows he's beaten. It's not a pen, but it's a straight red card. Can have no complaints about it. But he's not conceded the pen. I swear, man, with a name like that, you're just not helping yourself. He's the one who made the mistake for the first goal. And now he's been sent off. Is that a three-game suspension? It's not dangerous conduct, violent conduct. I think it's just a one-game ban, because a 3-game ban for that is World Cup over. And Mexico looking for the second here. They're playing against 10 men. This should be a pretty much walk in the park, especially if they do manage to get the second now. Well, Raul Jimenez is certainly going to be pulling rank here. So far, score might need to find a new shade of dark red for Sithole's score. He's dropped a nightmare here with the whole world watching. Well, South Africa down to 10. Down a goal. Now facing this Raul Jimenez free kick. It's just outside the box. It's going to have to hit this with power, really. Wall needs to do his job. It's a 4-man wall. Raul Jimenez is definitely fancying this one here. It's Raul Jimenez. He goes for power. It deflects off to Gutierrez, and the left-footed effort by Gallardo is a wild swipe there from the left back. And South Africa survive. Well, no double jeopardy there. Just a red card, not a goal. South Africa still in this game. But they're going to have a monumental shift here. Again, Williams has the ball here, and when South Africa try to build out the back, it's been a mess. I think common sense has prevailed here, especially now down to 10. Williams goes long. Mexico win the first and the second ball. Quinones does well. Great football this from Mexico again. Here's the left winger rather, Quinones. Run continued by Gutierrez. Oh, slight challenge. It's a risk taken there by Mudao. Corner for Mexico. They're cranking up the pressure. Hey, great to see Canelo there. The boxing legend. Of course, where's the Mexican flag? Canelo Alvarez gets the best seat in the house. Mexico looking for the second here. Roberto Alvarado had a very impressive first 45 minutes. The right winger with a left-footed ball into the box, cleared away. South Africa trying to hit this on the counter-attack. Eric Lira's got enough pace and determination to get there first. And now South Africa, for the next 5 or 10 minutes, will have to keep their shape. They'll have to keep hold of the ball and play this rest of the second half in stages, really. Make sure that the next 5 or 10 minutes they don't concede the second. Then try and pinch a goal from a set piece, maybe. Again, South Africa really struggling to stitch it in the final third. Head coach Hugo Bruce might need to dip into the bench. Fresh legs will certainly be a huge leg up here for South Africa. This Gutierrez fella played for the US under 16s to 21s. Oh, interesting. Looks a good player. I'm expecting Mexico to go further than the US in the World Cup. The Mexican talent pipeline clearly bad. Again, they've got Fidalgo who plays for Betis. They've got Vasquez who plays for Genoa. The skipper plays for Lokomotiv Moscow, and Raul Jimenez starts for Fulham. Other than that, the team is very much based in Mexico. Well, a win. Any win for Mexico will be the perfect start for the home side. The co-hosts getting the lead, playing against 10 now. Really good carry in the middle of the park here for Mokina. Shifts it on to the right-hand side. Here's Ikram Reneers. First time really looking to try and isolate the left back. Decides to go to Mudau. South Africa slow the pace. Jaden Adams finds Modiba. You can see the wing backs slightly more inverted now. They've lost their number 6, so one shot in midfield, still with 2 up front. Here's Mudau. Mokina. Nice pass between the lines. It's a very good strike. Aubrey Modiba draws a save from Raul Rangel. It's the defenders who are looking to just have a strike from distance. Decent strike. Slight fumble there from Rangel. Comfortable eventually for the Mexican goalkeeper. Well, 10 minutes into the second half. Pelos Sithole getting a straight red card after making that last man challenge on Brian Gutierrez. Making South Africa's task a whole lot more harder. Reyes plays it onto the right-hand side. Will be a throw-in for Mexico. The red card actually frees South Africa. Sithole was holding them back. The rest of them don't treat the ball like a bomb. It's Lyle Foster is coming off here. Interesting call this from Hugo Bruce. Bring on Mbata. Is it going to be a straight swap? We'll wait and see. He's wearing the number 5 here, Mbata. So I think it's just going to be the one up front, and Mbata just gets into Sithole's position, and Lyle Foster makes way for a defensive midfielder. Hugo Bruce prioritizing structure over going gung-ho. Decent switch out onto the left-hand side. Quinones made the run, but well defended. South Africa win the ball in midfield. Adams does well. Such a risky pass. Oh my goodness me. Mexico can look to pounce. Here's Jimenez. They won the ball back on a 2v1 scenario here. South Africa very fortunate that they don't concede anything off note, but they give the ball away again. This is some suicidal play, this from South Africa. The number of times they're just giving the ball away in the final third. They're going to get punished, man. Really are going to get punished if they continue to just be a bit so lackadaisical with the ball. Well, set piece scenario. Berto Alvarado's eyeing this one up again. Looks like he's in charge of set pieces here for Mexico. Johan Vasquez trying to peel himself away from the marker towards the far stick here. Free kick for Mexico on the right-hand side half space. It's a right-footed ball into the box, trying to direct his header. South Africa do manage to clear. Just hammers that forward. 1-0 defeat for South Africa at this stage isn't the worst, really. Expected Mexico to possibly run away with this one. Infantino, of course, who took away from Michel Platini. It's different when the commentator tells you a random fact about a player who plays in the South African First Division for a club you are never likely to watch in your entire life. Well, they're getting paid to do a lot of research. They better do it. There's Baggio there as well. Was it this stadium where he missed his pen? No, it was in America, right? I think it was in America. Baggio sitting next to Infantino. Be careful, Roberto. That fraudulence will rub off onto you. There's Gallardo. Mexico now can play this game at a walking pace. South Africa are just trying their very best to remain in this contest while Mexico looking for the second. There's Vasquez. Better this from Mexico between the lines onto the left-hand side, finding Julian Quinones. Ball into the box towards the far stick. It was an unmarked run there for Roberto Alvarado. Quinones doing very well to pick his head up to find the pass. Slightly overhits that. Well, playing against 10, the extra man advantage will show up, especially in the wide areas. South Africa will try to be as narrow as possible. Again, they're trying to play out the back here. This is where the Mexican forwards will be very much on high alert. Here's Sibisi. Finds Mudau. Back to Sibisi. Much better football this. Very nicely done. On the right-hand side. Again, South Africa is so impatient in the final third. Need to take better care of the ball. Here's Sibisi. Finds Mokina. Here's Ime Okon. Sibisi. Again, better from South Africa. Talked about playing this second half in stages. Keep the ball. That does a lot of good. Do a lot less chasing. Conserve your energy. Try and find that last bit of gas in you in the last 10 minutes. Also here about for Gilberto Mora, the hype I've heard about this kid. Wait and see. There's going to be a lot of gems being unearthed in the World Cup as Swane is coming on for South Africa. He replaces Jaden Adams. It's been the midfielders who have been sacrificed. Certainly an interesting call. Expecting Zwane to play as one of the wingers. Ikram Renes will be leading the line. Change in shape here for Hugo Bruce. He was playing 4-5-1 really, but he needs genuine width on the left-hand side. Here's Vasquez. Finds Cesar Montes. Mexico would love a clean sheet to start off their campaign. So you have that feeling of that air of invincibility at the back. Feel that you can go very long in the tournament. That's something that Thomas Tuchel and England will have. Don't concede too many goals, and in a knockout tournament, generally it's the one goal that separates the two teams. It's Gutierrez finds Montes. And you can see Julian Quinones just picking up any position he really wants. Here's Fidalgo. Under a bit of pressure, goes back to Raul Rangel. Mexico can certainly use their bench. Bit of impetus going forward. They know there's a lot more space to play with. Raul Jimenez does beautifully well, man. The way that he brings it down, it's a reckless challenge there by Julian Quinones. He might pick up a yellow card here, the goal scorer. It's a high challenge. Let's have a look here. Doesn't really catch Mudau, but it's a high boot. Mudau doesn't really get caught. He's just playing to the cameras, hoping that Quinones does get a yellow card. Well, Luis Chavez is getting ready to come on for Mexico. Just fortify that midfield for the home side. And South Africa continue to keep playing long, but the ball just isn't sticking. Mukena does well on the left-hand side. Aubrey with the ball in. Oh, that's a very decent ball in there by Aubrey Modiba. He's trying to go wing back to wing back there. Kuliso Mudau making the run. Aubrey Modiba is asking the question. I've put the ball in a perfect position. Is that Tyler? I think that is. I'm not sure who is front and center. Pop stars from the two nations on display. Raul Rangel again. He'll have no pressure on the ball. South Africa will have to be careful. Know that they commit players forward in the press, they can very easily be bypassed. And from there, it's going to be the South African attack. But that's a good strategy here. They're not just sitting back. They're very much trying to put the pressure on Mexico. Try and force the turnover. Ball for South Africa. Here's Williams. His distribution has been iffy to see at the very least. And he goes long and it's easy there for the skipper. Montes brings it down. Goes long. South Africa are just turning this phase of the match into a bit of a dogfight. It's not pretty, but it's effective. Really cut down on Mexico having chances. Despite being down to 10. Oh, they've given the ball away again. Needlessly. Here's Gutierrez. Clever pass between the lines as well defended. Very impressive, the South African wingbacks. Both Modiba and Mudau. Both doing their jobs and then some. 25 minutes remain at the Estadio Azteca. Double substitution. Here is the man. Gilberto Moras coming on for Brian Gutierrez and Chavez coming on. Gutierrez and Fidalgo both off. And Mora and Chavez will be on. Looks like straight swaps. Midfield now beefed up with some energy and quality as Chavez and Mora have been swapped out. Yep. Ask and you shall receive. Gilberto Mora in that Mexican midfield now. Wait and see what the youngster's all about. Good challenge there. Nicely done. Mexico with some renewed ballers in midfield. Chavez will add a bit of bite and forward quality. Mexico just need to manage this game here. Eric Lira has been excellent in the base of midfield. Proper number 6 that. There's Quinones playing in a central position. Raul Jimenez plays the 1-2 with Quinones beautifully on the right-hand side. Here's Alvarado now. Mexico have committed players into the box. Whoa, what a ball that is with Jimenez adding the finishing touches. It's 2-0 to Mexico and it's all 3 points for the home side. Brilliant finish. What a ball into the box. Jimenez does the rest. Excellent finish. Oh, it's a lovely ball, man. And soon after, Mexico make the double change. Well, Raul Jimenez, 47 goals for his country. This one, and the biggest stage of them all. Again, it all starts with Mexico playing some excellent football. No surprise that Raul Jimenez gets involved in the build-up. Alvarado's cross into the box is perfect. And Jimenez from close range is not missing out. It's Dunzo, Manny. It very much is Dunzo. Lovely finish there by Raul Jimenez. Alvarado has been very, very impressive for Mexico on that right-hand side. And that telling pass. It's a big moment really for Raul Jimenez. Suffered that fractured skull and then quite the comeback to not just play football again, but lead your line for your club and your country. It's been a long journey for Raul Jimenez, and you can understand why he is emotional. But it's 2-0 to Mexico, and it's pretty much game over now. He is their all-time top scorer. 47 goals in 127 games. Raul Jimenez will go down in Mexican folklore. Well, for this to be a contest, we needed South Africa to score one, but after Sithole pick up a straight red card, it just felt that the game was going to be Mexico's, and that Raul Jimenez goal means that Mexico will start off their World Cup campaign with all 3 points. Lovely finish. It's all about the cross, though. It was put on a plate, and from there, he's never really missing. Expected Mexico to win. Maybe had a pre-match, maybe 3-1, but looks like Mexico might end up taking this 3-0. Suddenly, the pressure will be on South Korea and Czechia now as to trying to keep pace with the co-hosts. This one as a contest is pretty much over. I hate breaks, man. Why do they put advertisements between football games? This makes me sick. Well, as we approach the final 20 minutes, South Africa looking to try and pull a goal back, while Mexico looking to further extend their advantage. Well, Raul Jimenez had a couple of opportunities in the first half. Mexico having to wait nearly an hour after the opening goal. They finally had the cushion that they were looking for. Mexico will be hungry for more, though. They've got the quality. They've got a couple of players that have come off the bench. Yeah, South Africa don't really belong in this level, don't they? I mean, 48 teams, they're ranked 60 in the world. But fair play to them, man. They're making the World Cups. What the hell are we? That might be a foul there on the youngster Mora. Yeah, and FIFA need to get their opening game sorted here, man. Get the big boys going, and that's how you get a World Cup started. A game like Mexico, South Africa, apart from the Mexicans and the South Africans, and of course everybody just tuning in for the pageantry of the opening game of the World Cup. They're tuning in, but real neutrals or people who want to get into the sport are not going to really take to football, especially when they watch someone like Mexico taking on South Africa. Here's Raul Jimenez, though. He's full of confidence. Oh, the offside flag is very late. He's surprised that Jimenez was flagged there. He had a lot of time and space to really check his run. Ooh, tight call there from the official. Might have let the player run, but decided to flag instead. Javier Aguirre will be happy to see his side have the 2-goal advantage. South Africa haven't troubled Raul Rangel, and that's the biggest slight, really. That'll be the most disappointing theme for them as Mexico win the ball in midfield again. Here's Raul Jimenez. What a first touch that is. That's a risky challenge. It is a very, very risky challenge because he leads with the arm. He catches Jimenez. Jimenez is trying to go on the outside. He's not going to get a pen for this, but it's very risky defending this. Especially when you stick your arm out first and you don't get the ball. It just comes across. Sibisi, I think, has done the right thing there. It just comes across. And it's not a shoulder-to-back challenge. Just makes his way around Jimenez on that occasion. Just about okay. It's a risk, though. Approaching the final quarter, Mexico have this game wrapped up sweetly. And after South Africa picked up the straight red card, almost felt like it was going to be game over here. And Sibisi, the late challenge on Quinones. It's a yellow card there for the centre half. South Africa have picked quite a few yellow cards in this opening game. And almost feels like they need to make that challenge, else they might get caught. Mexico attacking with a lot of swiftness. Julian Quinones has been taking that central role a lot more seriously. That's a bad foul there by Sibisi. Definitely a challenge worthy of a yellow card as Mexico look for the third. Eric Lira gets things up and running here for Mexico. South Africa have done a decent enough job, but ultimately lacking the quality. This is a good game really for Mexico. South Africa dumb. Why are you pressing that high? I mean, the tactics have pretty much gone out the window from South Africa's point of view. They know that their forwards can't really make the impact. So it's almost like trying to unsettle the game here for Mexico. I'm trying to make sense. Because Mexico can easily bypass the midfield. Now on the left-hand side is Gallardo. Here's Mora onto the left-hand side to Quinones. Here's Chavez. Quinones again. Referee with a nice nutmeg. It's Quinones. Oh, he nearly works his way onto the left-hand side. South Africa do manage to clear, but not too far. Can they win it in midfield? Chavez gets absolutely cleaned out there, but a lovely challenge on the slide. South Africa can't carry the ball too far forward before the foul has been given. And Chavez, who got wiped out with a slight challenge, came rushing back. A double change here for Mexico. And a double change for South Africa as well. Fidalgo will be coming off for Mexico. Number 8. Eric Lira is coming off as well, the number 6, with a very good performance. It's Lira and Jimenez who are coming off. And Alvarez and Gonzalez coming on. Well, Edson Alvarez, we've seen him donning the colours of West Ham in the Premier League. As the Mexican fans are being treated to a comfortable victory here. Modiba and Reyners both coming off for South Africa. Bringing on their number 7 here. Paulus. And Magopa coming on for South Africa as well. So 4 changes made by head coach Hugo Broos for South Africa. Mexico with 4 changes themselves. Keeping things fresh. They know that the points are locked up here. It's all about trying to get a clean sheet and maybe even add a third before the full-time whistle. Quinones scored in the 9th minute. Jimenez scored in the 67th. Mexico never really looked threatened since then. comfortable start here. Perfect game, really, for the co-hosts. South Korea versus Czechia coming up next as Group A will start to take a bit of shape. Here's Johan Vasquez. Edson Alvarez. Alvarez is more than competent number 6. We've seen him play that role for West Ham United. It shows you the depth that head coach Javier Aguirre has for Mexico. Here's Alvarez. Chavez, Alvarez again. Mexico continue to keep the ball nicely. Bit of a risk taken there by Raul Rangel, but they come out with the ball. Here's Johan Vasquez. Into midfield. Chavez punches the pass onto the right-hand side. And they have all the time and space here to pick their passes. Here's Mora now. Gilberto Mora. Acceleration on the left-hand side. Tries to play the quick 1-2 here. Last touch coming off Mexican fullback by the looks of it, but will be a throw for the home side. Well, Quinones' numbers come up as well. Mexico making their 5th and final substitution. The man who opened the scoring in the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Julian Quinones, with the strike and the substitution in the 80th minute as Vega comes on in his spot. The number 10 takes the spot of the goal scorer. Mexico certainly have plenty of good options on the bench. Mora, Edson Alvarez. Now their number 10 coming on. Chavez on the right-hand side trying to just dig out the cross. South Africa looking to now build an attack here. They would love a goal for their efforts, but the quality from midfield to the final third has certainly lacked. Makina. Again, he gets done there and he's very fortunate. He is so lucky there, Makina. Teboho Makina looked like he got robbed off the ball. Mora doing so well. Again, there was not a foul. He's so fortunate. He's the one who initiates the contact. He's the one that gets muscled off the ball here. Could have very easily been caught out of possession again. South Africa playing some kamikaze football. Good pace on the cover there by the skipper. Wins the ball with time to spare. Here's Israel Reyes. So we're approaching the final 10 minutes. South Africa look like their race is run. Alvarado, bit of a risky pass. South Africa have the ball in the central areas. On the left-hand side, half space here. It's a chance for South Africa to try and conjure up something of quality. Thought about the cross, delays it now. Now a shot attempt. Again, couple of feints, and then the strike. It's straight at the goalkeeper. Decent play there from the substitute. Just came on moments ago, the number 7. Alvarado getting clattered there. Good challenge. A couple of Mexican players just throwing themselves at harm's way. That was the challenge on Roberto Alvarado. Needless there from the South African. The final 10 minutes, Mexico having secured the job. 2-0 to the good. Playing against 10. Just about the perfect World Cup opener for them. It's like a warm-up, really. The Azteca, which was packed to the rafters, now seeing a few more empty seats. World Cup fever gripping North America. It's going to be a month of high-octane action. Yes, the group stages will flatter to deceive. A lot of the nations getting their first crack in World Cup colours. Here's Julian Quinones. I think he should be the man of the match for his performance in the World Cup opener. Having gotten the goal, struck the base of the post, linked up well with Raul Jimenez. Oh, they're going to have a look at the screen here. Is this another possible red card for South Africa? This could go from bad to worse. It's the challenge on Roberto Alvarado. A bit of excessive force was used. I mean, I don't think that's a red card challenge. Alvarado just makes his run into the player. Don't think there was too much violent conduct displayed there. Not at least from this angle, but from the other angle, if he's thrown his forearm, that could be construed as violent conduct. There you can see one of his arms just goes flailing there. South Africa might be down to 9 come full time here. Yeah, that's the angle that might be that incriminating one. He kind of throws his arm, and from that angle, it might be a red card here for South Africa. This could be ugly, really, really ugly here. South Africa down 2 goals, might be down to 9. Well, it's a substitute as well who just came on. It looks like VAR is going to follow the protocols we have seen in the Premier League, where the referee gets 10 or 20 views at it. Oh, the red card is going to be brandished, and it goes from bad to worse here for South Africa. It's their substitute as well who's going to pick up a straight red card. We saw Sithole getting a red card for a last man offence. He's going to miss just the 1 game, but for violent conduct, this is going to be a 3-match ban, and the end of the World Cup here for the substitute from South Africa. Mexico 2-0 up, have the 2-man advantage, and that is absolutely nightmarish there for Zwane. His World Cup is over. That's a straight red card for violent conduct, and it goes from bad to worse for South Africa. 2-0 down, 2 men down as well. Well, it's way beyond hectic, Manny. It's not just the game being lost. It's how it's being lost as well, and the implications it's going to have in the next games as well when South Africa do take on South Korea and Czechia. It's so poor, man. But you can understand, you can understand the retaliation, but you cannot be flailing your arm. Alvarado is very clever. He just backs into him, initiates the contact. He wants the foul, which he's going to get it anyways. But then for Zwane to throw his arm, what do you even say as a coach, man? Vega does very well. South Africa have to be careful now. Last thing they want to be is down to 8. It certainly is hectic scenarios here for South Africa. Not the ideal start for the African side, of featuring in the World Cup for the first time since 2010, where they were the host nation. It was an iconic night for South Africa, not just being the host, but getting the opening goal courtesy of Siphi Shabalala. Well, it's all about management now from Mexico's point of view. The game is all wrapped up. There's enough space here. 4 shots, 2 yellows, 2 reds. Pretty bad. Not the best representation from South Africa, that's for sure. Mexico should be looking a bit ruthless here. They should go for the 3rd or 4th if they can. Lovely switch on to the left-hand side for Jesus Gallardo. Here's Vasquez. 4.5 minutes plus stoppage time remain at the Estadio Azteca. Here's Vega. Mexico playing the game at a walking pace here. Everybody getting a touch. Here's Gallardo. In the half space here for Vega. It's almost inviting the South African press, but South Africa almost reluctant to charge out. Here's Mora. Edson Alvarez. Shifts it on to the right-hand side. Alvarado. Alvarez. Alvarado again. Good exercise in keeping the ball here for Mexico. On to the left-hand side. Here's Vega in the half space, committing 3 South Africans there. Vega does well. Here's Chavez. Good pass there from Gallardo. They're looking for the 3rd here. Almost waiting for the perfect opportunity. They do manage to clear there, South Africa. Won the ball nicely. Can they try and build out? They can't. It's an Alvarez. was lunging in, and now South Africa on the counter-attack. Pretty much sums up their evening, doesn't it? There's no quality in the final third, and then just a rash challenge to end it. Well, Hugo Bruce pretty much summing up our emotions there. So poor there from Zwame, really. Referee was right there. And the fact that you've got 10 cameras, we're going to slow-mo everything down. Poor decision there from Zwame. Red card, which means that he'll miss the group stages and his World Cup is pretty much over. Didn't start the game, came on as a sub. And his World Cup being done in pretty much 10 minutes. It's a real shame there from Zwane's point of view. Well, Mexico just looking to run down the clock here. Possibly strike with a third right towards the end. Job done nicely for the co-hosts. Expecting South Korea and Mexico to be the top two sides coming out of Group A. Czechia will certainly feel that they can try and upset the apple cart. South Korea, of course, excellent team. Good pass between the lines. Heavy challenge. South Africa win the ball back. Possibly going to get the ball here. You have to be careful, not lash out at anything foolish. Last thing they'll want to be is down to 8. Well, South Africa did put a decent shift, but that's pretty much where the praise ends. Their quality in the final third absolutely lacking. Raul Rangel having nothing really to do. A couple of strikes from distance, but other than that, Mexico's goalkeeper having a very comfortable game between the sticks. Now Mexico, if they were slightly more clinical, could have had a better scoreline. Of course, Quinones did strike the base of the post in the first half. Could have been 2-0 much earlier. Raul Jimenez's nice back post header, making it 2-0 for the co-hosts. And from there, they have not looked back. Here's Alvarez. Mexico now playing with a bit more intensity, trying to get that third before the full-time whistle. Here's Alvarez. And for the cross, gets his header. That might have been a foul, ref, no? South Africa gets slightly fortunate. Nice turn from the central areas. Great carry, but Edson Alvarez wins the ball clean as a whistle. Again, South Africa with so many needless fouls, man. Picked up quite a few yellow cards. Pekezeli Mbokazi has been one of the shining lights for South Africa. Left-sided centre-half. Throws in a bit of an aggressive challenge himself. Well, we're into our 7 minutes of stoppage time. Hey, thanks a lot for tuning in, Gautam. Yep, I will be definitely live for the Brazil-Morocco game. I'm going to skip the next few, that's for sure. But Brazil, Morocco, France, Senegal, some of the ones that I'm certainly going to keep an eye on. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Good night and Viva las Mexico. Canada? Who they play? I mean, is that a good game? I have to check out the schedule. But if the game's good, the opposition is good, I'm tuning in, that's for sure. Probably do one game a night. Tomorrow's schedule doesn't look the best, but it is what it is. We're going to tune in even for the boring games. Thanks a lot, Gautam. See you, Manny. Peace, brother. See you, boys, for the next group game. Thanks for tuning in for the World Cup opener, and South Africa on the counter-attack might make things interesting here. On the right-hand side, great pace. Oh, that's a cynical foul. Israel Reyes is going to pick up a yellow card. South Africa finally showing something about them. So South Korea is playing Czechia at 7:30 a.m. That's not a game that I'll be doing, Manny. I'll do the night games. Oh, there's a red card. Can you believe it? It's a red card for Mexico. Reyes has picked up a red card and it looks like it's a straight red. 3 red cards in the opening game of the World Cup. Can you believe it? That is wild. Was a hectic challenge there by Israel Reyes, but that is not a red card challenge. That is a yellow card. He's not last man. It's a cynical foul, no doubt about it. That's a yellow and a free kick. Has he done something extra after that to warrant the red? That's a yellow, man. That's a definite yellow. Now, the only thing is whether or not he showed a bit of dissent to the ref. That's never a red card in terms of the challenge only. Game has descended into a bit of chaos. 10v9. The ref should be red carded away from this World Cup. I mean, the 2 red cards that he did end up brandishing were the right calls. It's not Israel Reyes, it's Cesar Montes who's picked up the red card. The skipper has to walk. Again, I'm not sure about the challenge. I mean, challenge was a yellow card at best. For that to be brandished as a red means that Mexico will be without their skipper for the next game. 4 minutes of stoppage time remain here at Estadio Azteca. They need a goal though. I don't know, Manny. I have no idea how that's a red card, but it's 10v9 here with about 3.5 minutes remaining. Yeah, that's definitely a yellow card. It was never a red. You can see the skipper was perplexed, bamboozled by that reaction. South Africa looking to pull a goal back here, and their set-piece routine is pretty schoolboyish. Well, they could appeal, but it's just going to be a 1-game ban. It's not going to be a 3-game straight red card. Dangerous challenge suspension. It's almost like if you appeal, you might end up, if you lose the appeal, might add another game to the suspension. It'll be certainly an interesting call, but eyebrows would have been raised. Well, 2 goals and 3 red cards. If you asked somebody before the game started that there would be more red cards than goals in the opening game, they would have probably challenged your call. But 2 goals and 3 red cards. It's been action galore. South Africa looking for what might just end up being a consolation, but passes like that will not help. It's out for a throw-in for Mexico. The 2.5 minutes remain for Mexico to seal this one. Imagine how India would have been if South Africa is getting hammered like this. Well, imagining India in the World Cup, Manny, is a lovely thought. I'm not going to lie. Even if you're getting absolutely humiliated on the world stage, just the fact that we could be in a World Cup is a step in the right direction. But the way that it's run in our country, don't hold your breath. The 2 minutes remain. Fair play to South Africa, man. They were the hosts in 2010. Got qualifications courtesy of being the host. Did get grouped in 1998 and 2002. Their 4th World Cup, and it's a learning process for them. In our lifetime, hopefully. Hopefully. Maybe when we are 70, might see India in the World Cup. Mexico looking to keep the clean sheet here. Under 90 seconds remain. Estadio Azteca. We'll see a Mexico win to start off the World Cup campaign in 2026 here. South Africa, I would give it a C for effort. But in terms of their overall play, yeah, it's pretty poor. But the World Cup will be a slow burner, that's for sure. Extended format, 12 groups, 4 teams each. Top 2 teams will qualify automatically, and then the 3rd place teams from the 12 groups will compete for the remaining spots. Decent ball in, it's cleared away. Final attack of the match maybe, as 30 seconds remain of stoppage time. South Africa trying to venture an attack forward. A foul has been given. Referee, just play on, man. Yes, he'll be in a bit of pain here, Kuliso Mudau, who's put in a great shift, the right wing back. It's a painful one there for the number 20. South Africa looking for a consolation goal here. Final attack of the match. Sun's beaming down now at the Estadio Azteca. Ball clipped forward. And that will be that as the referee blows the full-time whistle at the Estadio Azteca. In a game where we've seen 2 goals and 3 red cards, sees Mexico win their opening group game of Group A of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Julian Quinones scoring in the first half. Raul Jimenez scoring in the second. South Africa then imploding with 2 straight red cards. Mexico losing their skipper right towards the end. 2 goals and 3 red cards to wrap up the first game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Full time at the Estadio Azteca. Mexico 2, South Africa 0. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. This was the first game of the FIFA World Cup. We did not expect fireworks, but I still do appreciate your presence here. I'll be back for the next group game, which seems interesting on paper at least. And then we can proceed with our watch-alongs. Full time here, guys. I'll see you guys for the next game.